Hey guys, welcome to episode 14 of the Three Man Meta. I'm Leighton, and as always, I've got James and Danny with me. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the regionals that the boys went to and talking about other regionals and the shit that's been going on in the Destiny world. So, how are you fellas doing?
Good. It's better than Danny from the sounds of things.
Yeah, I have a stonking cold. We were going to record on Thursday, but my face was melting at that point, and it's slightly less melty today, so that is good, I guess. I
Progress.
blame the sweaty nerds I spent the weekend with. Love you guys.
Cool. Well, I'm now going to have a little half an hour sleep. So, why don't you guys tell me or tell everyone about the regional that you guys went to in Aldershot the other weekend?
Should we go
I think,
shit to good, shall we?
yeah, so I'll
We'll give
start,
them,
Catman.
yeah.
I think I'm going to replace some Gwent, so I'm going to mute my mic.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Go on then, James. Kick it off. How'd it
Okay,
go?
so to start off the day, I was playing Seventh Sister ATK, so it's the one turn kill. The idea is you got all the Seeker droids and they do little things. You got focus, and then you do like 5 focus for like 15 damage, hopefully. That didn't really happen all day because it turns out I was so salty when I got back. I salt tested my dice, and sure enough, they pretty much exclusively managed to roll disrupts all day, and the salt test proved that. So with that in mind, I played round one. I played Sad Boys, which is E New Kylo and single dice Baby Vader, and it was just harsh. Like there's not a lot of mitigation in my deck, right? So Kylo just rolling out natural twos each time just hurt, and he did in turn one. He didn't put an upgrade. I think he put a 4-speed down and spent his 2 resources on 2 lightsaber throws right in the sister's face.
That does sound actually brutal.
Yeah, so I was just there like because he said he knows he's played against the deck. His mate was bringing it, and he knows you just got to go super aggro to kill it, which is right. In fairness to him, and I think turn 2 he got the claim and just flipped Anakin's dice to special on the throne room and just did 3 damage. I was like, yep, that's a thing. And that killed off pretty much the second or third turn into round 2. So I managed to slog it out with Guavian and Sienna, and I got the Z6 baton down and stuff and managed to pull some shenanigans. I think just about killed Anakin, because I thought Anakin would be the number one target in that, just because I'm a rainbow deck, right? And he can do some nasty things, and you kind of want to punish them for when they use that special. So that was my mentality. But it turns out that Kylo was just impossible. Like he was just getting the right color every time as well. So that's, automatically he did 4 damage from Kylo and kept rolling those natural twos and did the lightsaber throws, and then the special. I tried to mitigate as much as I could with what I had, and it just nothing worked out basically. We nearly went to time though somehow, so I was clinging on, and I think I got Kylo down to like half health or something. And it was just never going to, I should have just killed it.
Yeah, running the extra character and stuff is going to put you behind in the tiebreaker for damage done, isn't it? So
yeah, that's it. So it's just there, like okay. I was quite happy that I managed to slug it out, because I thought at that point, I was just going to scoop. But I was like, no, it's the first game. Let's just play this one out.
Yeah.
And it's you just can't do anything.
You got to ride the roller coaster, man. You have that little drop at the start, and then you start riding it up.
Yeah, and then so round 2, I have no idea who I played, but I won it. I know that much because I went 1-on-1. Basically, we did. I'm normally really good at the small tournaments of making a note of what I played, who I played, and what happened. I didn't do that this time because we had like 2 hours sleep, and it's been like a week or whatever. So it's just it's not an accurate report, is it? The next thing I remember anyway that been standing out for me was, I think at this point I was probably, I want to say I was like either 3-1 or 2-2. I can't remember how it went, but I was facing up against a K2P2, so that's a Kane and Po2, and I just didn't get any upgrades until turn 3. Which, I mean, you've played me, Danny, loads, and that deck just it just requires upgrades, right? It just
100%. Like as soon as you get that one Seeker droid, it's a massive upgrade. But to draw nothing for 3 turns, it's
3
quite
turns,
incredible.
it's just savage. Yeah, and he just managed to build his board state and get all these upgrades out on both of his characters. So he had like 3 upgrades on Kane and 3 upgrades on Poe, and I was just there with no upgrades. I think I rose again and picked up a Force Illusion because I was that desperate. And that was round 2 or 3. So it just feels bad. Flinging a
No,
force
like
illusion back feels bad.
that's a big tank. Heal 5, mitigate like 4. Yeah, it feels not very great, but at least you're not gonna
No.
die.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, yeah, I'm just so used to being like, yeah, here's a rise again. As soon as you're on 5 damage, I'm like, here's a rise again, and here's a Z6, riot
Yeah,
baton, or whatever, or
Kylo
like
Saber.
Kyler Saber. That's it. Like, you just, that's the play that you want, that the deck lives and breathes by, and it just never happened. Which happens when you don't, draw into cards, and I got Destiny basically is what happened. So I mean, yeah. Then I went into the bad room, which is sad.
Yeah.
So the bad room was basically the main room with what? How many tables?
It's
There's a
about, I
lot
think
of
there were
tables.
20,
Yeah, and then there was a
21,
bad room
22
with like
tables.
what, like 4 or 5 tables. And
Yeah.
the bad room was at so they're like the lower tables, right? So the people that are doing the worst. And I just went in. I was like, I need to get out of this straight away. I think this is my second to last game, and I played Palp, and I figured I'd be all right. And it just again, my dice just weren't rolling very well. It was awful, and I was just so like that was probably the most focused I've been on a game of Destiny because I was like, the stakes are so high. Like I can't finish in the bad room, and I ended up milling out Palp, which was strange because the Seeker Droids were just rolling out their mill sides, and I was like, okay, we'll just keep doing that then. I rose again twice to keep the sister alive. It was pretty close considering like I played myself on TTS with Palp because I was considering bringing Palp, and OTK sister just smashed him even when he had his own battlefield. So I don't know what happened there. It's just the dice, isn't it? Really, it's just my dice were just complete crap.
All I've heard you say for the last week is my dice, which
Yeah,
it's just something. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you, right? Like you were smashing me
yeah.
in practice games, but I guess when your dice don't roll, the focus or the melee, it
just falls
feels
apart.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally like I'll be the first to put my hands up and say, when I've done something wrong, when I've misplayed, or anything like that. And there was nothing that really stood out across the course of that tournament that I did wrong. Like, I was playing it, I know the deck like the back of my hand now. We've played so many games, and his sister just never wanted to turn up. Was the problem really? So it just felt really really bad that I spent all that money and we spent all that time getting there. I was just like, oh, but anyway. It's still good. We had a lot of good games and met a lot of cool people. And my final game was back in the main room, so I was happy with that. And played a cool guy. Can't remember your name. I'm really sorry, but we played. He was playing Rainbow Fives, so 5-die Rainbow Villain, which I just sat down opposite and got super tilted for a second because it's the one meta deck, so to speak, that we didn't actually practice against, did we? That I kept asking you for, Danny.
Yeah, I had the deck in my deck box. We just never actually played a game of it.
No, yeah, because I think we slept from the train from Norwich to London, and then from London to
Aldershot. There were no
Aldershot.
tables.
Yeah, there was no tables, so it completely ruined our plans. So yeah, I was playing this deck that I just had never played against before in my life, to be honest. But it was fine. It was a great game. It was so back and forth. It was so close, and Seventh Sister actually did a job, which was beautiful. She got I think I boundlessed perfectly into some weapons and to a price of failure, and I think I leadership just before Sienna died, and then boundlessed, and then went into a price of failure. So I got the double reactivation, which is probably the first time all day I got a double reactivation with the cards in my hand to reroll.
Yeah.
And yeah, she just swung for like 10 damage, 12 damage, or whatever each time, and it was beautiful. And that's what the deck should be. And it was really nice to see right at the end she decided to wake up and was like, yeah, I want to play some Destiny. Would have been nice if she woke up when I woke up at 4 a.m, but
yeah,
alas, that's Destiny. So I ended the day on 4-3, which I was really gutted with, but at least it's positive. At least I'm not, at least I didn't end in the bad room.
That is the important thing.
The main thing.
Yeah, there's something I've been wanting to ask you as well. Is that I had a lot of people ask me, did we go to a tournament the night before? Did you mention that?
Yeah, I think I told a couple of people. Yeah, because I was just like, when you sit there and the game's done, you just have a chat. And like, I'm just so tired. Like, wherever you come from today, most people were like local or Southampton. They're from the south, right? And I was like, oh, we're from Norwich. And like, oh, that sounds long. I was like, yeah, well, you just have to throw in that we went to a tiny little tournament and then got in at 12 and then. Sorry, you're so robotic, Leighton. You go back to Gwent.
In the bin.
So in the bin. in the bin. So yeah, so I told a few people like we got in at like 12, and then like went out like literally slept. I think I got in about almost at 1 actually, and then slept, and then got up at 4 to get the train for 5. And people were like, "What? Why did you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know."
There was
I
a lot of
just don't
regret
know.
actually, but I won that tournament the night before, so
You did. You beat me in the final, and I should have seen it then. I should have seen how bad my dice were rolling then, because I had some tough games that shouldn't have done against decks that weren't meta.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about Cambridge, is that they all have these cool little niche decks, but it struggled against them, and this is like supposedly a tier 1 deck, so I should have like looked at it and been like, this is not a good sign. But I just,
is that really the time you want to flip your deck the night before?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could have just took Palp, because I think I probably would have done better. Either way, it's just going.
Palp was easy, right?
Yeah, that's it. And I just think, it's a bit gutting overall, because I wanted to take that deck into Legacies, because Maul's Saber is like tailor-made for it. I do think it's a good deck. It's just my dice are crap. So
anyone wants to send some Seeker Droid dice, I'll give you James's personal address.
Yeah, send them my way. I'll do a trade. If you really want to hit those disrupts on your Seeker Droids or discards, I managed to mill a Palp with the Seeker Droids. So if you play the mill game,
new Seven Sister mill strat, let's do it.
Yeah, literally do it. Okay, so that's my story, my tale of sadness. Now Danny's take it away.
Your tale of sadness. I thoroughly enjoy that. So this is the same story. I woke up at 4 o'clock. We got on a train at 7. We got to Aldershot at about 9, and then round 1 didn't start until about 10:30. So we could have spent about an hour in bed. We also, on the way, we had to stop off at London, but one of the tube stations was shut. So we walked to another station, realised that was the one that was shut. So we had to get a bus.
I'd forgotten about that. Like the sun wasn't even up. I don't think I was awake properly.
We when we left London, the sun rose. But got to see a bit of St. Paul's Cathedral, which I don't think I've actually seen in real life. Send a James, 2 made of 3, or St. Paul's. Anyway, going to the actual tournament. So I decided not to use my buy at this tournament, because I thought it's the main South Coast regional. And being the first regional we had in the UK, I assumed it would have a pretty good turnout, and it did. I think we had something like 64 players.
I think it's 54. I think.
Is it 54? We had about we had 54 players. Which
like
I think will be the higher
size.
end of what we'll see. Maybe some of the ones up north might see something equivalent, but I feel like when we go to like the London one and the stuff more local to us, I think we'll see a smaller amount of players. So I didn't use my buy, and I sat down. I'm always nervous. Anyone who's ever played me in a tournament will know that I am just jittery to fuck and just panic and just chat shit the whole time I'm playing. But I sat down opposite flips his cards over, and it was Elite Mon Mothma, Elite Lando Calrissian. And I kind of relaxed at that point. That's probably the most relaxed I've spent all day. He played Ghost and the Land Speeder round 1 and round 2. But I killed Lando start of round 2 and killed Mothma at the start of round 3. I think I took 2 damage.
Feels good.
It felt real good. It was a nice, easy win. But he did that really annoying thing where he flipped his cards over, and I went, oh. And he went, yeah, just playing something a bit different.
Yeah.
And it triggers me when people say
aggressive comment. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't play meta. I'm gone to this regional championship to play a bad deck.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but you're still spending 20 quid, right?
There's a time and a place for casual decks. Like, I'm, the most tipster of gamers, but when you spend 20 quid to go to a regional and presumably travel as well, it's like, maybe don't bring complete trash.
Yeah, I guess I was more invested because, I had that ridiculously long train journey in the morning, and, I'm quite a competitive player for those of you who don't know. So won my round 1, all feels really good. I was really worried about playing a lot of R2-P2 and Qui-Gon Kanan early on in the day. And I would have much rather have faced them in the late stages of Swish, which luckily I did, because round 2 I played against Kylo Elite Django, which it turns out was the Kylo Elite Django that made top 16 as well. Sorry, no, not top 16, top 8.
Yeah, that's really surprising, that was, when I saw that.
Yeah, and it was a really close game until it wasn't. Because I think round 1 it was Jetpack on Django, rolled out and resolved 4 or 5 damage. Then next round, like an on the hunt went on, and then like a holdout blaster. So Django was like fully kitted out round 2. Luckily, I managed to kill him at the start of round 3, but he did a good play with Kylo. I don't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head, but it killed my Rey just before I killed his Django. So I had a full health Rey go against his Kylo. Full health Poe versus his Kylo, but his Kylo had the redeployed holdout blaster and an on the hunt, which is not the best upgrades. R2-P2 is pretty blue heavy for Kylo's ability, but he's only running single die Kylo, so he's only rolling out 3 dice. One of them is awful because on the hunt is good at taking off shields and nothing else. So, and essentially with Poe, I ended up getting Poe Blaster, a light bow, and another light bow on him. So I ended up just flipping chaining specials, and I just gunned down Kylo pretty quickly, which took me into 2-0. I'm really sorry for my round 3 opponent because I've been racking my brain. I'm going to say for the last hour. And I cannot remember who you were, what you played, or what happened. As I said, I've been sick since about Tuesday. And I was real tired on Monday after getting home on because I had to work Sunday as well. So after this long day, we get back in at Norwich at like, I think it must have been like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was so good like that. So
And
ridiculous.
it was 1 o'clock on a Saturday night or Sunday morning. So we kind of went, we'll get a taxi, and then realised that we weren't going to get a taxi. So we had to walk home. And I probably got in about 1:30, and I had to be up and at work at 11 o'clock. It was a bad feel. Anyway, so round 3, I apologise. I've forgotten your existence. If you know who you played me in round 3, let me know. I'd really like to know. So my first 3 games, these are all kind of like on the mid-table, slowly working my way up. And on round 4, I made it to table 3. And my opponent didn't show up for a good, 5 minutes or so. Everyone else has sat down, the round has started, and my opponent wasn't there. So I was like, maybe he's scared of the national champion, hashtag. Turns out he was just massively hungover and upstairs and at the wrong table. So he comes down and gets his deck off the tournament organizer. So he was up there without his deck as well. Champion, this man.
Was he quite well spoken?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played him when I was waiting for you to finish. And he was like, he smelt of alcohol.
Yeah.
Like he was
You've
on
been there, James. Come
incredible sesh. I could not play Destiny after a sesh at all. Absolutely no.
It's the English resilience right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's going to be my plan at Worlds. Is I'm going to go out with all the Americans. I'm going to go out for a sesh. And I'm going to be fine because American beer is like water.
It's just water.
Yeah.
So, and they have the little Coke cans, don't they? They don't have proper cans.
Pints, right?
Get on our level. We're disgusting. Basically.
So he flips over Palpatine, which was a deck I was quite worried about, and all of the testing against James. I just lost probably 70% of my Palpatine games. It's just lots of just brutal damage just kept coming through. But I started with my Honor Guard, so I played that and removed a 3 with it, so that felt really good. I did an early claim. I didn't resolve a 2 melee on Rey, so I could get the Honor Guard back for round 2. In round 2, he rolls out again and hits a 3 on Palpatine, so I Honor Guard it back. But he gets the claim in this time because I hadn't even rolled out my characters pretty much by the time I had put upgrades and used my Honor Guard and stuff. So he got the early claim in. I rolled in some damage. I was doing all right damage. Round 3 kind of kicks in and I draw into my deflect. So again, I deflect a Palpatine 3. If you've not seen the pattern here, he's just rolling that 3 side on one of his dice every single activation. It felt good. Luckily, I had the removal, basically. And I chip away. I get him to 7 damage. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling good. And then obviously he plays the he plays the Rise again and goes to 2 health, and I was just like, God damn.
Yeah, it feels so bad, doesn't it?
But
You see those resources amassing, and you're like, I know what's coming.
But he had rolled out. I had removed his dice. He then rose again to go back to 2 hit points, and I hadn't rolled out either of my characters. So I roll out Ray, and without any rerolls, hit 7 damage, and he had no removal. So I hit him for 7 damage. I rolled out Poe, who rolled out 5 damage. So I hit him for 5 damage, and put him on 14 hit points. So next round, I just activate Ray and ping him 1 damage and kill him. So it was a really close game until I just rolled the nuts.
Yeah, that is so nice. But it sounds like his dice were weighted. If he's rolling that 3 every time.
Maybe he should salt test his dice, right? We should have a little Tupperware box of salt water and just be like, excuse me, can you just put your dice in here, please?
But then it's FFG's fault, right? It's not even like they're cheating.
That guy, cut that PB8 dice in half, and they're not the best dice in the world, but
no,
they are what they are, right? It's a game, and if you want to salt test your dice so you get really good dice, then you will win more games of Destiny. I think it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Just wish I salt tested before the tournament.
I remember explaining salt testing to you on the way back, and you seemed real into it. And then, like the next day, you were sending me photos of your salt test.
I just needed to do it. I just needed to
working out
to see what I could do.
What degrees can you put your dice in the oven? Because that's another fun fact.
I very quickly decided that. Yeah, I very quickly decided not to do that.
Yeah,
like I put it in and was like, I feel like I'm gonna get like cancer from plastic fumes or something. Like, so I was just like, and also, why would you want to like bake your dice to cheat anyway? I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do this.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know, you can put dice in the oven, get it to the correct temperature, and the middle of the dice starts to melt, and that will force any air bubbles to the side that you put at the top, because air rises, right? Especially hot air. So you can manipulate the weightings of your dice, but you could just melt your dice, and it is cheating. So don't do it.
I was going to say, how to cheat at Star Wars Destiny.
Sponsored by the 3-man.
Maybe we should call this episode that and just be super clickbaity.
Ooh.
I bet we get a lot more views. It'd be funny to see the difference in views if we did that.
Yeah, clickbait. We'll do it. So this began, after the Palpatine, began my days of fun Destiny games. I moved up to Table 2 and played an R2P2, which, when I had a look, to my right was R2P2 versus R2P2. I was R2P2 versus R2P2. To my left on Table 3 was R2P2 versus R2P2, and to their left was like Palpatine R2P2. It was by round 4 we had all worked out where we needed to be, and it was just a long slugfest of a game. All my R2P2 games were pretty much, where it's just all these subtle activations. Like, people moan about the R2P2 dominating and the match, I can't imagine is very fun to watch, but when you're playing it, it's like a mini game of chess, because you both have the same pieces almost, and it's just how you go about activating your characters. Obviously there's some luck in drawing and how you manage your resources and stuff.
I think it's like a game within a game, the RTPT mirror, because it's so specific in what it does. And no other deck really does it. And it is, I don't think it's the most interesting game to watch at all, and I can see why people are frustrated, but to be in there, I've played you and stuff, and you really feel it, don't you? Like, it is its own game in Star Wars Destiny. But saying that, I did stop watching you to watch the Palpatine game because it was just more fun.
Yeah.
For me.
So this was one of the first games. So I was teching in double logistics 1 binds all things. And my main plan was to, drop a post blaster on Poe, roll him out, logistics, a resource die, so then I could drop an ancient or a Shoto on Rey, and getting those 2 upgrades out round 1. I must have done it in my Swiss games, probably 4 of the 7 games that I did, I round 1 2 weapons. And sometimes, you didn't get to roll in that weapon round 1, and it was just the way it kind of fell. but I think that only happened maybe once. So this was a game where I Poe blasted and an Ancient Saber on Ray round 1, and that kind of gave me that really big early boost. And I had killed. I essentially think you should always kill Ray unless Poe gets a Poe's blaster on him early, or Ray gets Luther's shields and a Force solution, and then you've got a big swing. But you should kill Ray, which I did, and then he did, and we had a bit of a Poe off at the end, but I managed to clink it through with again a Poe's blaster and a double light bow. So it's a good combo on Poe. It feels powerful. After that, so I went up to table 1 and I played one of the Southampton guys who ooh, coughing my guts up, apologies. And this was just another slugfest R2 P2 match, but we were like, well, this is round 6, it's the last round, we've guaranteed in, whoever wins comes first, whoever doesn't gets second. We've made the cut, go us, let's just have a fun game. So we play our game, I lose, obviously because I was only taking it as a fun game, right? Yeah? Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, definitely. No, I've got a photo. He rolled out Poe with a light bow and a Poe's blaster and hit special on all 4 dice. And it made me real sad. He already had Ray in the... he had already rolled out Ray, so he just rolls out Poe and he just hits this trifecta of 6 damage and focus Ray's dice into damage, and I was just like, well, cool. So he hit me for a ton of damage and I lost the game. From that roll, it really swung it to him in his favour. Maybe there was some things I could have done, but I'm only running like 1 caution and stuff, so tanking up isn't as easy. So I lost. I was like, okay, well, I'll take second in overall in Swiss, that's fine. And then we got told that we were doing 7 rounds because in Fantasy Flight's rules, which I did check and it is correct, for the number of players we had, we did 7 rounds of Swiss. Now, I've run a lot of Swiss tournaments in my time, and the correct number is 6 for 54 players. You do 6 rounds of Swiss. So that is how the math works. But Fantasy Flight have done it their own way, I guess. So I had to play RTP2 again for the 3rd time. This game was not close. I got 2 upgrades out round 1, and I'm pretty sure I won by round 3, which I felt really good because the 2 matches before, both games, they went and time, and then one of us would, like, I would kill my opponent in that round, and in the second game he killed me before we actually had to do any tiebreakers. So I'd been playing Destiny for like a solid hour before that, so I didn't even want to play this last round. I really just wanted to have a break and mentally prepare myself for the top cut, but I played it, and luckily it was a very quick game. So I finished my Swiss on 6-1, which put me second overall because I lost to the guy who top Swiss overall went 7-0, which it was good. I like finishing not top of Swiss, but top half of Swiss is where I kind of aim, because you got to get that loss out your system early. This is like I took my loss in Swiss where it doesn't really matter, where if you take your loss in the top cut game, you want to get your bad roll game out of your system nice and early in late Swiss rounds, not in the top cut. So we had a bit of a break. It's probably about 45 minutes where we did prize giving and all that kind of stuff for participation for everyone else who would come and were leaving, and some guys were hanging around because people who they had given lists to and stuff were in the top cut. So we worked out who we were playing, and I was playing against Hero Mill, which is a deck I haven't played against ever. I'm pretty sure ever. Maybe I've played Leighton once when he was playing Hero Mill, or you've played Hero Mill?
I've never played Hero Mill.
Maybe it was Leighton then.
I want to now, but Legacy done some crazy things with it, but not in the Empire War Mare.
Yeah, it's a super interesting deck. I kind of threw it together when Empire War came out and called it jank, and it did all right, but I'm not a middle player, and I'm not going to play that trash. I'm not that scared about Hero Mill. He definitely was stripping the cards from my deck like no man's business, but I beat him 2-0 And in
What was the character composition? Sorry.
so it was single die Recon, single die Padme, and Jedi Instructor.
A lot of single dice, isn't there? Really.
Yeah, 3 single dice. So I know it wasn't. I beat him 2-0, and he never went through my deck in either game. It was real close. I had like 3 cards left both times. But the power of I got a Shoto and an Ancient on Rey quite early, and what that allowed me to do was when I activated Rey, I could use the Shoto ability to remove a shield off Jedi Instructor, and then use Rey's ability to ping Padme for 1 damage, removing her shield. So he then constantly had to try and work out like hunker downs and stuff to keep pitting shields back on them before he could activate Recon. And every time I just kept ploughing all my dice, my synchronicities, everything into Recon both games. And then I'd kill Padme, and then I'd finish off with Instructor.
So he didn't really do anything, did he? You were saying?
Yeah, like they were close in the sense that he had almost milled me out, but I don't know how you're ever going to take my hand away from me, especially when I start recurring Ancients. He did manage to mill an Ancient off me in the second game, and that made me a bit worried. But when I had like double Shoto, by the time I get to double Shoto, and I could start ripping the shields off with Shotos and pinging a damage onto Recon, like Shoto in that matchup is incredible. So I can see why Hero Mill is good and why it hasn't done really well, because when the best decks run double Shoto, and that's both Qui-Gon Kanan and R2-P2, that's why it hasn't done extremely well, and why it has a good showing, because it can beat all these other like aggressive decks in there, because it's got a lot of it can give itself a lot of shields, but when you start removing them and start spreading your damage, it really it really starts stuffing up the.
Yeah, it's funny you should say about the Shoto and Rey, because while this game was going on, there was another game in the top 8.
Yes, I have heard this.
I didn't want to. Yeah, I was trying not to distract from you, but I had to like step in, because one guy was getting really salty because he was arguing that you couldn't use the Shoto ability to give Rey a shield to then use her ability to ping. And he was saying, "Oh, that's just not fair. That's silly." And I sort of was there anyway, and they were calling the judge, and the other guy was asking, "I'm like, yeah, this is how it's played." And I just had to step in and be like, "Yeah, that's totally how it's played. Like everyone knows that's like one of the core niche tricks of R2-P2 is that you put the Shoto and another blue thing down, and then So, but it was just awkward because the tournament organisers had to do it, and then I think it was the winner. It was the eventual winner.
Chris
doing it, Chris. Yeah, and he was. I just felt bad for him, because it just sounded like it completely ruined the atmosphere for them too. Yeah, from that point on, the guy was just not talkative. He was just really aggressive. So anyway, that's some people don't realise that you can choose your own effects still, which I thought was fairly basic knowledge. But Sonia, back to you.
It's crazy that you would. I mean, obviously, like, it's a complex game, but you shouldn't get angry at someone when you're corrected, and
that's it.
It's not an incredibly powerful effect. It's really synergistic, right? That's what makes the deck really good. So I ended up winning my round of 8 game, which I was super happy. Picked myself up a Thrawn. If anyone wants to buy Thrawn, I've got one. Hit me up. Last game though was R2-P2, and it must have been about 6 o'clock. So we've been up for about 14 hours by this point. And it was another R2-P2 mirror match, so best of 3 this time though. And by this point, I was kind of in a sleepy haze. And the first match was really close. And I can't really pinpoint a moment that dramatically lost or won the game for either side of us. He had a really good C-3PO discard, I think, in that game, which made me lose like False Illusion and something else. And that if I had been more alert in that game, I might have been able to pinpoint some things I could have done to swing it in my favour, because it was such a close game. But then it ended up just slowly, like, it was Poe versus Poe at the end, and I just slowly kept losing more health than I could gain, and I just couldn't deal any damage back to him. I remember I was just staring at 2 Force Misdirects in my hand, and I was just real angry that I had them at the end of the game and not the start. So I ended up taking a loss in that game. Game 2, felt really in control. Got my 2 weapons down turn 1. Had this absolute astonishing synchronicity play where Ray was on 9 health, 3 shields, and a Force Illusion. And I test the waters a bit. I roll out, I hit some melee. I've got synchronicity in my hand. And okay, I'm just seeing if he's got like the big blowout stuff, and it didn't look like he did. Turns out he didn't. So I ended up rolling everything out. I Poe focus, erase, die into a shield, and synchronicity. Ray killing her, pass a Force Illusion and the 3 shields, and then plow 8 damage into Poe. So I'd pretty much won that game in that big swing. He then did kill my Ray with a good C3PO play. For the life of me, can't remember what it is now. But that game I felt super in control. It was the match that I knew I could win. And I did. So last game, feeling real confident. And I drew a Shoto in my opening hand with logistics, and I was like, ooh, so I'll keep those 2, chuck 3 cards back, didn't get another weapon, and I think that, oh, wow, feels bad, but I'll build up the resources, and so I can play 2 weapons on round 2, as well as the one I've already played on round 1. So I do all that, play all my cards, draw 5 more cards at the start of round 2, no weapons. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to get a bit tricky. He rolls out Ray and hits like 7 damage, so I sound the alarm. It wasn't 7, it was like 5 damage. So I sound the alarm, and he re-rolls it into like 7 damage, and kills Ray. So I've got a full health Poe versus a Ray with like 4 damage on her and a full health Poe. And I kind of play the next 2 rounds, or at least the next round. But it's coming up to like almost 7. I'm exhausted, so I ended up just scooping my cards. And I probably said about 3 times during that game, well, I'd rather lose this match than play in the finals and lose the finals, because you get nothing for second place. And at that point, I already won all the promos, so I was just playing for the trophy and the national buy for next year. But I'm going to enough regionals. I think I should be able to pick up a trophy and a national buy at another one. So I finished 4th because my opponent lost his last game. So in the nice happy way of working it out, it was R2P2, R2P2 Palpatine, and then me in 4th with R2P2. And then we kind of run to the train and spent 4 hours getting home. That was real fun.
That was fun. Yeah, we ran off with the Palpatine player, and our dice were shaking on our bags. It was great.
Yeah.
When we're trying to run, it was good.
Yeah, we got to the train because we thought it was leaving 10 minutes earlier than it did, and we got there and we just stood at the train station for 10 minutes. It was real good.
Yeah. It was a long, long day, and I'm glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over. Would I do it again? Probably in a heartbeat, because I hate myself.
Yeah. Maybe just not go to Cambridge the night before.
Maybe just not go to Cambridge the night before. But I am going to the Manchester Regional. I haven't actually done that much testing yet, and that's in 3 weeks. So I need to look at the old regional results from this weekend and copy someone's deck and get practicing, I guess. Maybe Zeb Yoda, because that's...
Zeb Yoda's been doing really well.
Zeb Yoda has been doing really, really well.
Mm.
We don't know is Leighton still playing Gwent? You're welcome back to the conversation now, Leighton.
It's been a good 2-man meta show, though, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we're the best of the 2-man meta, right?
It's true. Well, we go to all the regionals. We put the work in.
Yeah. What's Leighton do? Buy a car that then breaks the next day?
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to just make him mad to see if I can get a response, but...
I think you're just ripping into him. He's probably gone.
Yeah.
So welcome to the 2-man meta.
Yeah. So I guess if we just talk about the regionals that have happened since. I know America had some regionals in Portland last week as well, which was won by Hondo Yoda.
Yeah, that deck looks pretty nasty.
Yeah, I was thinking though, the main source of damage from that deck is it steals your resources, and then also does damage using Hondo special, right? Because when you can't pay, you have to deal the damage. But does that mean something like Thrawn completely counters that deck.
Because you just give them money.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think
if you can just have this nice reserve, or even chance cube, just chance cube, put the middle finger up to that deck.
Well, the way I look at chance cube is it's always nice to get that 3 resources, but you've got to remember you're paying 1 to roll it in, so you're only netting 2.
Yeah, I guess.
So you give 1 away, you're basically paying 1 to get an extra 1 and give 1 to your opponent. I think from what I understand, the best way to deal with that deck is to just take the damage in the early rounds, because otherwise they're going to build their board state and put all these crazy weapons down, and then mid to late game is when you start giving them money, because
that makes sense.
at that point you don't need money and neither do they.
Yeah.
But if you straight up see, oh god, 3 damage, I best give you some money.
Yeah.
Like that's when it starts just putting light bows down and all these crazy things.
Because it's give them the money, right? It's not you just discard.
No, yeah, it gives them it. So it's a super powerful ability, but I think people just will learn to play around it. I think you take the damage early, and then you just start giving them money, and presumably you just take resources when you can get them on your dice.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think Yoda's best in a mill deck, and we've seen Hero Mill is the first mill deck to actually win a region. I think I can't remember where it's won, but it was. Is there a list of any of them somewhere?
Ooh, on the interwebs, most likely.
We're bad at this, but basically Hero Mill's been doing some work, because it came quite up in Portland as well, didn't it? And that's Yoda. Is it Yoda Recon Partisan?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's been doing absolute work, and you can see why. I think that's a really strong deck, and it's good to see some mill doing good. Like winning stuff is a bit crazy, because I don't want to just turn up to a regional and it be just full of mill decks.
Mill. That's fine, man. Yeah. Then you just start playing less mitigation and more upgrades and more money cards. Like I don't think Hondo Yoda will become Hondo. It might even be Hondo Poe. Either or will do great things. I don't think that is going to become a meta deck, because I think it is just something that just caught people off guard. And when you really kind of dissect what the deck is trying to do, if you just start building your money or, taking the damage in the earlier rounds and...
Yeah, I think that's how you play around it. And I think there's been a lot of discussion about special chaining, and generally speaking, especially early on before you get light bows and stuff down and pose blaster down, specials don't do enough damage to warrant the FAQ. But the thing is, like, every FAQ we've had has been to stop, to prevent interactivity.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming. I don't know how it's gonna be implicated into the game, but like it just feels like it needs to be changed. And at that point, Yoda becomes significantly worse, and obviously so do these decks with Hondo or Po2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because at the minute, like, who do you put in decks? In Hero, you put Po2 in a deck, or you put Yoda in a deck. It feels like. Or both. Like, generally speaking,
I think that's fair. I don't think the Po Yoda is a good mix, but
I'm not saying together. I'm saying
just either
when you're building Hero, one of those characters in, don't you? Or maybe Ayala or whatever her name is that we still can't pronounce because we don't learn.
Ayala.
But they're the 3 big ones for me anyway. Like that I keep seeing. So it kind of screams that something needs to change, but. Then Hero players complain that they've had it hard forever, so they should be able to do these things. It's
Pomaz, R2P2, other Hero decks.
That don't require special training, yeah. But I think that's the thing, an R2P2 in decks like that is still going to be good without special training. It's just you're going to be able to stop. You're going to be able to actually do something to stop them from doing it.
Yeah. Now, I do wonder.
That's what
I do need to build it. I do wonder what R2P2 looks like in the Legacies format, and whether or not it is tanky enough to sustain.
I don't see it changing too much, to be honest. I think.
And his name is John C.
I'm back. What have you been talking about?
Host.
That's a fantastic entrance, by the way, Leighton. We are talking.
We're talking very, very, very intellectual things that you wouldn't understand.
Yeah. It's a little card game we like to call Star Wars Destiny.
We're talking about how bullshit special chaining is, by chance.
Yeah, just right now.
pretty much. What are your feelings on it, Leighton? Are you pro special chaining, or do you want to see it gone like FN?
Well, the thing is, there's no interactivity with it, which is very frustrating, especially when you compare it with cards like Force Speed. So you can literally sit there with a Force Speed and all your other dice on blank to get yourself, and then the opponent's not going to want to then interact with those dice, or if they're not on other sides, then they take the Force Speed and then like re-roll into one special that allows them to daisy chain all the rest. Or even without that, it's just the lack of interactivity, and also a lot of removal cards moving forward state damage on them. Like
Yeah.
I don't recall many new cards from Legacies that are like remove die or X amount of die with this value, other than Entangle. And there's Entangle, and then there's Easy
Entangle
Pickings, but
and
they're both on the yellow side. But most other removal cards are things like Hasty Exit is like remove a damage card, and there's so I think that's an issue. There's not many cards that kind of like other than only other card I can really think that focuses on removing specials is Rebel Assault.
Yeah.
So I feel like there isn't.
Yeah, electroshock.
Yeah.
I think
Electroshock, but they're just like single. There's not that many that
well, that's
like.
yeah. What I was about to say is like so many people have been like, well, no, you just mitigate. Like it's so easy, you just mitigate. And it's like, well, no, like you can. He doesn't like you a single die, but like we've just said, as long as there's one of those dice on special, they're going to daisy chain.
Yeah.
So sure, you can remove one dice, but how many like cards do we have that really let you remove multiple dice from the pool? Like you got best defense.
I don't know. I mean, I'm in two thoughts of it, because on one side of it, I do see the the uninteractive side, but the other side, I think, well, you can play around it a little bit, and also sometimes, and if your opponent is using their Poe dice to change, then they're not using their Poe dice as damage. So you got to ask yourself, how much damage am I really taking a turn? I mean, if you have Poe with a hand crafted, and his own gun, like he's only maximum going to be doing 6 damage. Where if you say, for instance, have Zeb with like fucking the pirate blade, whatever it's called, the cutlass, is cut the cutlass, and like let's just even say like I don't know, a bloody riot stun baton, the new crap weapon.
Yeah.
You know, he still has like the same amount of dice, has a damage output potential of significantly greater. But obviously, you have to then naturally roll into them. So that's the trade-off. The trade-off is from the naturally rolling into them versus the being able to flip over to them. But I don't know, I think it's just a thing at the moment. It's just the thing at the moment. And I think Hondo is just like too cheap. Like, how can you print a character that has essentially got 2-3 sides? With Invader, it costs 21 points, and he's got a 2 and a 3.
Because he can take some of your money instead.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, when you play as Hondo, you're like, I'll deal through damage. Okay, give you money. Awesome. I'll use that money to then put fucking more weapons on my other character.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah.
So it's like you're happy either way. Either way, you either do 3 damage, which is helping you win, or they give you a resource that'll help you win, because you'll spend that money on removal that you couldn't afford because you've spent money on putting a weapon on someone, or you'll spend that money on more weapons. So it's like a win-win. There's no lose situation to the Hondo player. So that's why what I've been playing recently when I play against Hondo decks, like because I said in the last podcast, health is a resource. The first few turns, I just take the threes.
Yeah.
Don't let them build up. And then it isn't until like towards the end of the game where I start giving them the ones where like
as much.
and then hopefully
it's fun that you've gone through this, because it's exactly what we said 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So thanks for reiterating our point.
No, but it's good.
I just thought I'd articulate it in a more eloquent manner.
Oh, of course.
But,
this podcast has been reduced to savagery since you've been gone. We're not eloquent enough, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it's just it's just the flavour of the month at the moment. I mean, I would imagine that there isn't going to be any. I would envision there isn't going to be any form of errata, really, like a big one. So I wouldn't really
the only way I can see them changing it, and I don't even think they need to, is you can only resolve die sides that are in the pool when you resolve the die when you've just resolved your first die, right? So
Well, it doesn't change it because those blanks are still in
or
the
you know, you can't resolve a die side that wasn't in the pool on that side, and you know what I mean. So when you flip it to a special, you then can't resolve that special. But then
in the same action. Yes, it's like when you resolve a special, you resolve one dice at a time, and you resolve that one special. You've resolved. That's your action of resolving specials.
see, I feel like if you roll 3 specials out, and you have 3 specials out, then you could resolve all 3 specials. But it wouldn't allow you to focus special because the whole issue has arisen because in this set with Yoda and with the 2-player box with Poe is that they built in focus into a special. This problem didn't exist, when Empire at War came out. This is a new issue, which obviously makes the special really good because if Poe special was give any character a shield, it'd be real trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those annoying things. It's like it's annoying people at the moment, much like how Force Illusion annoys people and how Vibrant Knife annoyed people beforehand and things. But I don't imagine there'll be much of a change. I mean, maybe they just bring out some more cards to help deal with it a bit more, or there's a voice. But I mean, I played a game the other day. I tried out Zeb Kane, and I was very close to beating a Hondo Poe. I killed his Hondo like round 2. And it was just, but he managed to get my Zeb dead. But it was Kanan versus Poe, and Poe had a handcrafted in his gun, and which was a tall order for Kanan. Because
Would you
put the
kill Poe in that matchup though? I feel like you leave Hondo alive and kill Poe.
Well, round 1 he didn't play any weapons, right. So I went off to Hondo first because he's got the look at the 2 character dice, don't you? Poe's only got 2 2s. He's got 2 3s. So I went and Hondo's got 1 less health.
Yeah.
So I had the shields. So I went after him, and then I think I put 6 damage into him, and then round 2 he then put the Poe's blaster on.
Yeah.
So when you've already dealt like 60% of the character's damage, there's no Force Illusion. He hasn't got the second chance on him yet.
So it turns off the second chance as well, doesn't it? So
just get him dead first.
Yeah.
Just kill him as quick as I can. And also it turned off easy pickings as well, because that's a spot yellow.
Right.
And obviously my fear was like when I roll in multiple melees and whatnot, and then like you hit the 2 double sticks on
easy
Zeb, and then
pickings is definitely a meta defining card at the moment. Anyone who can run that card, it should be in your deck because it can just.
I looked at my binder. I haven't got any.
What number?
I haven't got any. It's yellow hero. No idea.
Yellow hero. No idea. That's a great number. Easy pickings. Do I have one?
100. I'm going to say 121.
Smuggler's Run. No, it's not in here. Easy pickings. 117. I've got 2.
Close. 4 cards. 4 out.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I've got 2. That's all I care about.
Cool. But I think Zeb's going to be a big character to see play. He's like 3 damage sides. You can play him.
Yeah,
you literally don't care. You just put the best upgrades in the deck. It don't matter if they're ranged or melee. You just put the best upgrades in because he can resolve his dice to either of the modifiers.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Can you run Yoda with him?
Yeah, I think you can. I'm 90% sure you can play Elite Yoda, Elite Zeb.
Yeah, that is
getting my Elite.
Probably the deck I'm gonna take to Manchester, I think, because it sounds incredible. Although the Yoda Qui-Gon also seems real interesting as well. But I don't want to play mono blue because of Kylo.
Yeah, you fight against Kylo, and then But then I don't know if we're seeing so much because I don't think Elite Kylo Tarkin's all that.
No, I don't think either. I really like Elite Kylo Greedo.
Oh, okay.
Because it gives you villain yellow and villain blue. I mean, that sounds like the best 2 colours and factions in the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, screw villain red. What you got? Best defense. That's it.
Yeah.
I can confirm that Zeb and Yoda together are exactly 30 points, both elite.
Yeah, I just checked it myself as well. So can I borrow someone's Yoda?
I sold mine. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I've got 1 Yoda, and I'm picking a second one off Ian. When I get paid on the 10th, I'm getting a second Yoda and a second Zeb.
Ooh, baby. I might have to borrow those off you for Manchester. Love you.
That's all right.
I'll bring you back a Thrawn.
Oh, lovely.
Ooh,
It's a good
there we
trade.
go.
It's a good trade.
Yeah, so that's something I'm definitely gonna look into. I think looks
Cool.
really strong. We've not had any results from this week's and stuff yet, have we? Regionals wise.
I'm not sure. Do you know, I've not been. I was at work yesterday, so I've not
Yeah.
really been
So,
and yesterday into today.
yeah,
So I do
just
good old 24-hour shifts.
you love it. Starkiller Base, there's 41 players at Black Knight Games in Hamilton, but no updates.
30 minutes, Louisville, Kentucky. They've got 97 players, 8 rounds so far. They've done 3 rounds at the moment, and that's all that's come up on that.
Right, okay.
No, but 96 players is pretty.
That's pretty incredible. I think
intense.
that's much larger than we'll see anything over here.
Someone's got playing 5 droids. Someone's playing Snap Hand.
Yes, 5 droids. Keep the dream alive. The 3-man meta deck, as the 5 Ys should be known as. They are our cards after all.
I don't want that to be named after that deck.
Roger.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I guess you guys have covered it all. I mean, I've said so much in this last hour.
Well, now you know what James feels like.
Yeah,
It's good
pretty much.
Let James, have a little chat. I didn't even fill my water bottle up this time because normally I have to drink about a litre of water because I end up chatting so much. So it's been nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Played a bit of Gwent.
I think most of this one is just me talking about how good I am again.
It was great. It was riveting stuff.
It was.
When I was a robot earlier, I tried to say, "Oh yeah, a little shout out to Cambridge." We had a good little event there. It was
Smashed it.
It was fun.
I do love going to Cambridge and taking their stuff. It makes me feel.
What's my only loss against you again, Danny? I think that's pretty much.
I beat both of you.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. R2P2 too strong. I am the best player.
Oh yeah, because that's right. Because in our game, you had your Ray was on 1 health, and I had a crossguard, and I was like, I'm just gonna play this crossguard over Ray and just kill Ray. And for no reason, you just felt the need to play Ray's lightsaber on your already activated Ray.
Yeah.
Just for no reason. No reason other. I mean, I don't even think I had any dice left in the pool. I think all the dice were gone. All the dice were gone, and so his option, I thought he's just gonna claim. He's got nothing to do. He's gonna claim. But for no reason, you played a fucking Ray's lightsaber, and I was like, my card's see-through."
Next level plays, mate. No, what it would have been is that I didn't want to take it into the next round, but I could play it this round. So
yeah, and you got redeploy on it. Get that redeploy out.
You overwrote a weapon, didn't you? Overwrote a Shoto.
Because she had 1 hit point, right? So I would have played it on her too.
Yeah,
So redeployed over to Poe.
But that's what I mean. You had 2 weapons on there.
Yeah.
You had Ancient and a Shoto. So I thought, he's just going to roll in and get a shield and do a damage. So that's what he's thinking. I'm just going to bang this crossguard on and crush his hopes and dreams. But you crushed my hopes and dreams by playing a fucking Ray's lightsaber for no reason other than to get
thematic, isn't it? Actually,
if the reason could have been anything, it was just to get this reaction from you now.
Yeah.
I just thought, you motherfucker.
It's all right. We've got plenty more games to play.
It's fine because I played against another R2P2 in my final round and killed his Ray by playing. I killed Poe first because he just decided to put all the stuff on Poe, and then by playing a crossguard and then for 2, and then overwriting that crossguard with a crossguard to deal the 2 damage I needed to win the game.
Big plays, no dice needed.
Exactly. Right. Felt good.
Well, considering that we're 1 minute away from the hour mark, and we've probably rambled on enough, it's probably a good time to wave goodbye.
See you, world. Peace out.
Cool. Check it. Are you streaming on Monday, Danny?
I probably will still feel like absolute crap. So maybe. I didn't stream last week because of my exhaustion into this cold. If my cold is still in existence on Monday, I will not. If it is gone, I will.
Oh, Jay and Sir Christopher, they're sewing up this bloody streaming market, man. They're just
They are.
every fucking day. They're just there,
That's because
getting
they're real
getting
good.
hundreds of dollars of donations. I've been watching them. I'm like, motherfucker, I want the $100 donations.
Yeah, but we're not as
Like
good as
Jay's
Jay,
like,
man.
oh, I need money to get an Elgato, and he's like, just people throwing $10 at him here and there. Chris was like, oh yeah, I need a new need a new PC. People throwing $10, $20 here and there. I'm like, man, what is this?
That
What is
feel
this
when you're just
madness?
an adult and just spend all your
Our
money on board
Patreons are
games.
fucking. We're bleeding patrons like a stuck pig, and these motherfuckers are getting money thrown at them.
Well, can you blame them though? They're much better than us. I don't. If you're listening to this right now, I don't know why, but we love you.
They're not listening. They don't care. No one cares. We're fading into obscurity.
Wow.
The only English podcast.
Well, the only. Oh no, we're not the only European anymore. There's Discard to Reroll. No, that's not them. Isn't that Mr. Chip's podcast?
I thought Mr. Chip was American.
Yeah. So it's Your Destiny. It's the Danish guys.
Yeah.
I hope they're Danish, or I've just been real racist.
With that chat of other podcasts that you can check out, we'll see you next week because I really need to go now, guys. Like I've said 5 times on the chat.
Well, you could just go, and then I can.
I'll just turn off the thing. I'm just going to go.
No, don't go. Right. I need to record. Don't go. I'll lose your voice.
Well, there you go. Wow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Sweet dreams, sweet prince.